So we start with a shot of the kindergarten playground. It is later in the day, as many children are playing on a typical playground of seesaws, jungle gyms, etc. A group of teachers watch everybody. We see feet dangling under a wooden bench. And when we look up, we see Joff sitting with two bloody cotton wads sticking out of his nostrils, taped down with a large Band-Aid. He is a pitiful sight. His gaze alternates from the ground to longingly watching the other children play. The little girl Joff helped earlier catches his eye and walks over.
Does your nose hurt?
Joff nods.
Why did he hit you?
Joff shrugs.
Do you want to play?
Joff shakes his head no.
Okay, maybe later. Bye. I hope your nose gets better, Joff.
She walks off towards the swings. As Joff watches after her, he notices a group of rowdy boys running around playing tag. They veer off towards Crystal and knock her to the ground. She screams. The boys scatter. Joff jumps up and runs over to her.
Crystal, don't cry. You'll be okay.
A teacher rushes over to pick Crystal up and attend to her as she cries plaintively. We hear ominous music. Jasper stands in the distance, staring at Joff, a malevolent stare. The teacher looks over at Joff, who is staring off in the distance. But when she looks in the same direction, she sees the devil dog watching from the far side of the playground. It turns and trots off. Fade out. We cut to an exterior of the family home at night. It's a quiet, typical suburban neighborhood, a modest two-story house with a car parked out front on the driveway. The lights on either side of the front door seem inviting. Dogs start barking. We cut to an interior of the child's bedroom. It's a modest room with a dresser, a closet, an open chest of toys, below a window with moonlight streaming through the partially open curtains. We can hear a TV playing in the background quietly somewhere else in the house. In a small first-time bed, Joff is sleeping. Barking wakes him. He yawns and tries to return to sleep, but looks around the room, and he sees on the opposite wall, within the shadows, a couple of oval-shaped lights shimmering around some moonlight reflections. We hear the distant sound of a child giggling. Joff at first thinks little of it and continues scanning the room, but he comes back to the oval lights. He squints at them, trying to see them better. The lights look like eyes. Giggling seems closer. Joff pulls up the covers closer to cover his face. The oval eye lights turn to stare at Joff. Barking stops. Silence. Downstairs in the living room, Angela and Gabe Claring, Joff's mother and father, are on a couch snacking as they watch a TV game show. Suddenly, they hear a loud scream from Joff's bedroom. They look at each other, and Angela instinctively jumps up and heads out of the room. A mother's instinct as she rushes up the stairs. Meanwhile, inside the child's bedroom, the door opens. Angela comes in and snaps on the light to find Joff sitting up, holding his nose, blood streaming everywhere. She gasps and grabs several Kleenexes from a dispenser on top of the dresser. She rushes over to Joff to mop up the blood and comfort him.
Oh, darling, it's okay.
Joff sniffles on the verge of tears. He points to the opposite wall where the eyes were.
Did you see something?
Joff nods and points.
He's there.
Angela looks at the wall again. There's nothing.
I don't see anything. Here, let's look. Hold this tissue against your nose.
She goes over to the wall gestures at a spot.
Was it here? See, there's nothing here, Joff.
Joff sniffles, holding the tissue against his nose. She turns towards the wall and touches the wall with tactile motion to demonstrate nothing is there. But only we can see that she's looking angrily at the wall.
You will never have him. Vade retro satana.
She turns around, now cheerful.
Nope, nothing here. I think it was just a moonbeam, don't you?
Joff shrugs as she comes over and sits beside him.
Why don't you hold on to the tissue for a while? You want me to leave the door open?
We hear music from a quiet church organ. Joff nods pathetically. Angela smiles, kisses his forehead, gets up, turns off the lights and exits, leaving the door open and light from the hall sending more shadows into the room. The organ music rises in intensity as we shift to the interior of an Episcopal church during the day. It's a Sunday morning. Joff is being led by the hand down the main aisle of the church. He looks up in wonder at the architecture and stained glass windows. He looks around at the faces of the people in the pews. An older woman smiles at him. He looks down bashfully. The fingers of the organist press lightly over the keys. Joff is boosted up onto a wooden pew, sitting between Angela and Gabe. Joff fidgets, tries to get comfortable. He looks around at the people sitting, for the most part rigidly, in their seats, looking towards the altar. As the music escalates in intensity, Joff slowly looks up at the cross. We see crossed feet with a nail in them, hands with nails in the palms, the crown of thorns, the face of Jesus. Joff looks away. A minister steps up to the pulpit. He opens a large Bible and scans for a passage. He looks up to read, but we cannot hear his words, only the escalating organ music. Joff is now standing on a prayer bench, so he can see over the top of the pew in front of him, chin on his hands. Angela and Gabe look at each other and smile at their son's rapt attention. The minister is sermonizing now, but still, all we hear is the organ music getting more intense. Joff looks over at the stained glass image of the Virgin Mary. He looks back to the crucifix. The music is rising to a crescendo. Organist fingers playing, music climaxes. The gentle eyes of the sculpture of Jesus are now looking at Joff. The music reverberates to silence. Joff, eyes wide, smiles at the kind visage. But he steps back and falls with a jarringly loud clunk. As he falls back, Joff is caught by Gabe, who pulls him back onto the bench and lightly pats his face. Joff reaches for Angela, and she comforts him and sees that he is looking up at the altar, wide-eyed. But when she looks up in that direction, she sees nothing unusual. The parents look at each other, concerned. The statue of Jesus is looking down at no one. Joff looks sheepishly up at the minister, who looks down at the boy and smiles and nods.